Actually, what would you do if you genuinely had like 2 years left to live? Well, it's not one of those like
Yeah.
bullshit questions. You know when people usually ask like, if you had one day to live, what would be different? But Jenny, imagine like
If I
you're
had
actually
two
gonna die in
years.
2 years.
Oh God,
Would
I'd
that
have to
change? Would
write.
that change anything?
Probably, yeah, definitely. Because then now my life will have like there's an expiry date, and I
Mm.
know that is coming up. So yeah, probably I would just. I think I'd be a bit more carefree. So probably do more things that I have been scared to do.
Mm.
So whatever that as in it could be anything.
Why can't you do that now then? Regardless if you're gonna die or not.
Mm. No, and that's all. I don't know. I guess it's because we don't know our date, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
You know,
Yeah.
in a weird way, they may take it for granted, right?
Mhm.
I've been thinking about that a lot recently because I feel like I've had like two different like occasions where I thought I was gonna die, including this morning as well.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Just waking up, I was just thinking, what's going on? It's crazy out
Yeah.
here. Yeah. But anyways, look, it's good to have you on here.
Thank you.
One of the things we like to ask people is, what's the one thing that people should know about you?
Oh
And
gosh, yeah, okay.
and I'll ask the second question after that.
Okay, one thing people should know about me. Um, my name's Chloe, Chloe and Moore, and I don't know what I am. That's a really good question because
Mm.
there's so many things that I can say about me, but like, where do I begin, if that makes sense? Like, so for example, I'm one half of a podcast,
Yeah.
called After Eight, and yeah, we've been doing that probably about a year and a half now. Weekly episodes. I edit and produce episodes as well weekly, and it's
Mm.
something that I thoroughly enjoy doing alongside one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like what's your process of production, by the way? Because that's something I've been looking into recently. Just in terms
Um.
of producing like media content or
Mhm.
producing podcasts and stuff. How
So go on. So as in like how?
so you said you do production for After
Yeah, yeah,
Eight,
yeah.
yeah. So what's your process of producing that? Like, how do you
Oh,
put that
okay. So
together?
I luckily enough have a setup at home.
Mm.
I'm actually a musician, a singer. So I've always had like a studio set up in my room. So even though I don't actively sing anymore, it's
Mm.
still there. So it's
Mm.
basically coming like in hand. And yeah, we literally record from my bedroom, and I'll edit on my laptop straight after. And
Yeah.
then when it comes to like editing, like the graphics and stuff, we literally abuse the hell out of Canva. Like we're not professionals, but we literally
Yeah.
use that. So yeah, so that's our go to. And I guess we're still learning. Like we're not like you know we're not perfect, and we're not looking to be like perfect, but
Mm.
we're just kind of learning and just seeing what works for us and what doesn't. And I think that's what makes it more fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
No, I like that. Do you know what? The thing about learning is always interesting. Someone asked me a question yesterday and was the question was, what would you do if you know you couldn't fail?
Mm,
And it kind of like reminded me of the thing. I was like, if you had 2 years to live, like what would you do as well? It's kind
yeah,
of what would you do if you couldn't fail? But then I realized I would probably be doing the same things anyways. I
yeah,
just wouldn't fail.
yeah,
But there's a beauty in trying to do something and failing and learning from it. It's like what
yeah.
you're saying. So you're just doing it and you're learning along the way and just trying different things out.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes a lot of people get so caught up in like kind of like just being stuck and thinking about doing something.
Yeah, no, I
They never
totally
get
agree. I
to it.
think I used to be that person.
Mm.
I used to be someone who was afraid of failing. And I think as I've gotten older and I've experienced more things, I've realized that it's actually okay to fail. Like, it's okay. And I feel like you learn better by failing,
Mm.
if that makes sense. Like, it's not a bad thing. And I feel like we have to, like, tell ourselves that, yeah, it isn't actually a bad thing. If it doesn't work out the first time round, we go again.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
It's essential. It's essential. But do you know what's interesting? Failing is actually a label for an experience.
Okay.
Like failing, how can I say this? Because a lot of people like take me out of context sometimes. But failing is not a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
The real thing is the experience. It's
Okay.
just fail is like a label that gets attached to the experience
Mm-hmm.
because whether success or fail is, it's just a label that defines what the experience is or the
Yeah.
outcome is. So for some people's failures are success,
Okay.
and some people's successes are failures.
That's
Is
interesting. Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. This is it's quite interesting. So obviously you spoke about what's the one thing people should know about you. But how do you get a feeling of importance?
My feeling of importance. Probably I would say through in a weird way, through others acknowledging me or the things that I do,
Mm.
or I guess what I bring to the table. So definitely acknowledgement. And I don't mean like, praise, but just actually realizing and just kind of take it in like, this is what I do, whatever it may be, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's like out and about, like just the acknowledgement, I'd say.
Mm.
I say that would primarily be one, the thing for
Yeah.
me, anyways.
Yeah, that's interesting. So acknowledgement, is that along the lines of so is that like along the lines of affirmation of the things that you do, or just being recognized for the things that
Yeah,
you do?
like being recognized. So
Yeah.
like kind of like imagine like let's say I am working on a project and I don't know, like I put like a couple of weeks into it. Let's say I'm out in the workplace and I put a couple of weeks
Mm.
into it. And now, okay, the project's done and we roll out this new thing that I've brought to the table. Like essentially for my manager or my team members to actually see what I've done and see like, hopefully it's, good. And they're just like, do you know what? Like, thanks for, bringing this to the table. Or
Mm.
do you know, this is good. And maybe we can, make it even better by doing this, that, and the other, but essentially not just overseeing it, if that makes sense. Like just
Mm.
actually acknowledging something that I've either been working on or just brought to the table, whether it's an idea even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know career was one of the things you want to talk about.
hmm
So what is it? Because you said you just moved on to another job, right?
Yeah.
So what is it you was doing prior to that, and what is it that you're starting to do now as well?
So when it comes to my job history, I feel like it's been like a roller coaster. I've been varied,
Mm.
but I'm so blessed to say that I've worked in amazing spaces, like great spaces. I started up working as a receptionist. This was during the time when I was a musician, and I just took on some part-time work, and I was working for a private jet company in Mayfair, and I must have been about 20,
Mm.
and it was something so new to me. I was just like, wow, like people have a 9 to 5. I didn't realize like what a 9 to 5 um essentially was. And there I kind of like learned about even being in different types of social settings. Of course, working in Mayfair and like high clientele, it it was definitely a culture shock, but I adapted really well, and it made me realize that you don't have to be rich or from a certain background
Mm.
to be friends with people who are rich and from a certain background, which was really cool. And I was there for a couple of years, but like my passion has always been within music and the creative industry and entertainment. So I think when I was there, like I think I was there for like up to like 3 years, and I was just like, no, I want to take the plunge. I want to move on, and I want to, I want to step into the industry. And I landed a job at a PR company shortly followed by MTV, and working at MTV, it was just like, oh my god, wow, like I'm at my dream, like role. I can't believe I'm
How
here.
old were you when it was
I think I must have
2022?
been about 20, 23. Let's just say
Mm.
23. And it was weird because I you kind of like have an idea of what something could be like, and then you might start and you're just like, oh, this, even though this is the creative industry, is still a corporate,
Yeah.
like, place. And yeah, it was interesting. Like I did learn a lot there, but I don't think I was particularly super happy there. And I think that's when I realized that name doesn't mean everything. So like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm at the MTV, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's everything.
Mm.
And so I decided to leave, and I was working as a office manager and a PA for a creative company. So I still stayed in the creative field, and I actually loved this job because it gave me freedom to like explore and just to have ownership of certain things in the office and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And then that's when I kind of started event management and all that kind of stuff, and it was fantastic. And that was going pretty well. And then one day I literally got a phone call, and it was from a company, and that company ended up being Facebook, or Meta, known as now. And
Yeah.
that was like my first step into tech, the world of tech.
Interesting.
I didn't even know Facebook had an office
Mm.
in London. I was just like, what the hell? And
So they headhunted you for a
yeah,
particular
they
role.
headhunted
Yeah.
me, and I wasn't even, like I said, I was like 23, 24, and I was just like, yeah, okay, like why not? Like I don't really
Mm.
mind. I can hop around, and then that's when I started like working in tech recruitment. So I was in that world for oh my god, like literally for like up until the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And I bounced from that company. I went to another music and tech company for a bit, which I loved. But then COVID hit, and then like got made redundant. And then it was just a case of like trying to survive. And because I had tech on my CV, loads of tech companies still wanted me, but
Mm.
that wasn't where my passion was. Like, I didn't want to be in tech. Yes, it paid great. Yes, there was great perks and stuff like that. And yeah, it looks fantastic on your CV. But I was just like, I want to, like, really want to be in the creative industry. And I was really determined to like get back in there.
Mm.
And then from that point, I was working for another tech company during COVID, and then I got headhunted by TikTok, and I was like, okay, great, TikTok,
Mm.
I'll come along, and then I thought, okay, I can like try to make my move around the company, and it's a lot more harder when you're like when a company wants you and they want you for this reason.
Mm.
I think it's really hard to like out of that,
Yeah.
because they're like, you're so great at what you do. Why would you want to go to another department? And then yeah, but I loved it there too. And then I decided just to take the plunge and just really go for it. And then so now I'm actually stepping into like a creative role, and
Finally,
yeah, I'm really
after all the
excited
tech,
after
yeah, after all
after all the tech, after
yeah,
all these years, and now I'm just like, oh, okay, finally. So it feels like, even though I've been working for years, it feels like I'm starting like afresh. So
yeah, that's
yeah, I'm really
interesting.
excited to
What
start
like
that.
so two questions on that. Yeah, what you said you had a role within that was within music and tech together
Yeah,
combined.
yeah.
What's the correlation with that?
So I was working for how can I say it? So it was a music company, and essentially the whole, how can I say, the whole point of them is
Mm.
essentially just to pay people within music on time, like the artists, make sure they get paid on time.
Okay.
Like that was like the sole focus and the idea of like the company. And
Is
then
that meaning that based on royalties or just
yes,
in
literally,
yeah.
literally all of that. And then within the company there's a label. And that label now has been signed to Sony, and like it's a big company.
Mm.
And so there was like, so it was kind of like half tech, half music, but it
Yeah.
was a perfect combination. I came on and they hired me to kind of work across both. So I was hiring for tech and also music, and it was great. Like, it was probably one of the best places that I've worked at.
That's cool.
And it was, yeah, it was a perfect mix. So like I had the tech experience, but then
Yeah.
also I was exposed to the creative side and the entertainment world. So that was really
That's
good.
really cool.
Yeah,
You
it was
sounds
really
like you've
nice.
done a lot. But what was like the call to create? Like you wanted to be a creative pretty much most of the time.
Yeah.
Like what was it about being a creative that drew you there?
For me, it's just my passion.
Yeah.
So like, like for example, like let's say you're in a meeting, and okay, like we'll say, let's say I'm in a recruitment meeting and
Mm.
we're speaking about, onboarding or hiring. We need to hire a certain amount of people for this area.
Mm.
It's just like, I can do it, but I'm not necessarily that interested. But I can do
Mm.
it, and I can do it well. Now imagine if I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. Like, now imagine how great I'd be, and
Mm.
as in like, and how much I could bring to the table. And for me, it was just like just my interest. Like, sometimes I'll be honest, I'd be in meetings and they'll be going over like head count and stuff for the year, and my mind slips out. Like, I'm just like, I'm actually not that interested.
Mm.
But at the same time, I can do it, and I did enjoy doing it because I worked with some fantastic people.
Mm.
But it was just like, I wish I was doing something that like I genuinely am passionate about. So
Yeah.
I just continued to drive, like, on the side. I bear in mind, so during these years, as I was, doing my 9 to 5, I've always freelanced. So I've always worked within music on the side, whether that's across marketing, most recently PR, artist development,
Mm.
events. I've always been doing that, like, over 10 years. So I think my main goal was to kind of make my freelance life into like my 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and just have to have to do like, yeah, just do one thing. But I mean, I'm really, really grateful for all of the like work and stuff that I've been able to
Mm.
do and be a part of, like, absolutely. And I guess everyone's journey looks different. So some people, like,
Definitely.
they might go through one route and it might look really straightforward and like, oh my gosh, like, why isn't that the case for me? But everyone's journey is different. So, and I've
Yeah.
grown to understand that, like, it's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
your time will come.
I've actually got a question for you in
Yeah.
terms of that career, and I wanted to ask you, um, so like in terms of you pursuing all your career goals and you just going switching between doing tech and then wanting to be a creative, like what do
hmm
you feel like the biggest obstacles that you've seen within yourself or just within the career pathways that you've faced?
I would say, within my self doubt,
Mm.
100% it'll be doubt. Reason being is that at the end of the day, sometimes you are going against people that do have, for example, an internship, at a
Mm.
label or whatever, even if you are going for a junior role, it's like, oh, but they've had a whole year at Sony, or they know they've had work experience at Polydor, and I'm just like, I don't have
Yeah.
these big names on my CV, so how am I gonna compete? Or why would the hiring manager take a shine to my CV? But when in actual fact, it's just like they do, like, if a hiring manager is a good hiring manager, they
Mm.
will look at, your experience, even if it hasn't been at top fancy labels or,
Yeah.
the big names. But definitely doubt was 100% it. And, when you are faced with rejection, sometimes you think, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. And I'm happy to say that I've overcome that, but
Mm.
it still is a struggle. Like, naturally, doubt does consume me sometimes, but I think it's just about shaking it off and actually remembering who you are.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah, remembering who you are is a powerful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we can forget that sometimes.
Definitely. And yeah, sometimes you really have to like pick
Mm.
yourself up and in a certain sense, like, gas yourself up and
Yeah,
recognize who you are.
I love that you said that. And sometimes there's this thing of like imposter syndrome can kick in as well.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I think the bottom line is that sometimes we are our biggest enemies.
Mhm.
And I think like people talk about battling other people and stuff like that. It's the battle is always within ourselves
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And how much do we believe in ourselves and things like that.
Yeah.
What kind of like strategies or approaches you use to advance within your career pathways? Because
Yeah.
because I feel like I feel like you've done so much, and I'm just
Yeah.
listening to you talk. I'm just like I've had like one 9 to 5 my whole life, and I'm doing some freelance work outside of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is it that you used, or like what is it that what's your mindset like to get
To get yeah.
yeah to get there?
Do you know what? I think one thing that I'm happy about is just I'm happy that like God blessed me with my personality. I'm naturally someone who just walks into a room and I want to speak to everyone. I want to like
Mm,
be everyone's mate and stuff like that. And that's really helpful in the creative industry. Like networking is super important. And a lot of people, what I've learned as well is that a lot of people land opportunities because of the fact that they are a nice or they're a personable person
yeah.
and not necessarily because of their experience. And also, like, not saying that everyone you meet is going to help you out along the way. No, absolutely not that. And I don't think you should have that mindset either. But I feel like, if you genuinely build relationships with, people that, who you might, aspire to be like one day or inspire
Mm,
you, you like their work and, maybe they're cool people. I definitely think that's something that has helped myself and can definitely help anyone that's trying to, navigate themselves around the creative industry.
mm,
Because like I said, like even like a lot of the jobs and stuff, it's not like they're not always posted online. Um, some of the stuff like it happens behind the scenes, and you have to know someone to know that there's that job vacancy at this
mm,
company, or this work experience opportunity is going over there. So I definitely think like being personable, being open, being nice, like just
yeah.
genuinely being a nice person. Like I know people say like, oh yeah, being nice doesn't get you far. It does. I think it does
Mm,
personally. Of course, you will meet a few people that um take advantage of you. But like as a whole, I'd say that being nice and just being you can
mm.
definitely, take you places.
I think they take advantage of themselves,
Mm.
not of the other person.
Oh,
Because
explain what you mean.
um, so the thing is, it's like at the end of the day, if someone's being nice to someone and they're taking advantage, like, and
Yeah.
they're gonna end up losing that person because of
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
It's like they took advantage of themselves
Yeah.
because they lost a genuine, authentic person.
Yeah.
That's a nice person in their life.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
Um, but there is a whole argument that about people being nice. So there's so some people say that being nice is a skill, and that
Mm.
some people are not genuinely necessarily nice, but
Nice.
they
Yeah.
pretend to be nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case? Or
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
I never used to think that, but then I
yeah,
think as I've like experienced more and more people in life, I've realized that I do think that's the thing.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
like sometimes like I go to certain so I think I'm as authentic as possible, but there are
Mhm.
times where I go to a particular maybe meeting or I be in a place where I don't want to be,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Hey, hi guys, you're right." And I'm thinking like, "Fuck you," or like that
Yeah.
kind
No,
of thing.
I hear
I'm
it.
just like, I'm actually like, it's a skill, you know. It's just I'm
Yeah.
trying to be nice. I'm trying to be civil. Actually, I think it's more about being
Being
civil
civil. Yeah.
or not creating issues that I don't necessarily need at that time.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. I
it's
think I
just
think, but like even like going on what you just said, I think that
mm,
it's okay to kind of know where to give your energy. So, like for example, like you being civil will essentially like not put you in any issues with like
yeah,
whether you're meeting whatever, and it's just like okay, it's cool. Like it doesn't that like basically, if it doesn't serve your energy, then, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
I think the niceness, the people that are nice, that are not actually nice, that
Mm.
scares me, are the ones that are like genuinely deep down, like they have maybe things that they need to like kind of resolve within themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sometimes just like fuck people. Like honestly, like certain days I just wake up and I'm just like fuck people.
Yeah. And
Not
I
not
hear
not
it.
everyone, but like just some. Yeah, just I
Yeah,
just
I
get
hear
tired
it.
of
I hear it.
people's drama, people's bullshit,
Mhm.
and just yeah, there's so much going on. So
Yeah,
you was
no,
gonna
I
say
agree.
something?
No, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I literally agree. Like, trust me. Like,
Yeah.
I also sometimes I'm just like, like I can't be asked, or like, and
Mm.
that's why now I feel like I have definitely filtered, yeah, who and what I give my energy to, because
Mm.
it's overwhelming
Yeah.
and it's a lot.
Super weird question. Not even weird, just
Mhm.
very different direction. Do you ever think about life? Do you think about like why we're here? Do you think about where we came from or anything
Mm.
along those lines?
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't. It's weird because like in a weird way, I okay. It's not that I'm scared to
Mm.
like find out all those things. But in a strange way, I kind of just rather not know.
Mm.
Now, I'm not someone I wouldn't say I'm spiritual. I am like, I'm religious in the sense that like I believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and I've been brought up Catholic, went Catholic, primary school, secondary school, all that jazz, right?
Mm.
I don't necessarily go to church every week. In fact, I ain't been in a while, but I am like, but I do pray, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And in a weird way, like, I don't know, some people might say that I'm choosing to be like, not naive, but like, I just prefer not to know. Let's just say that. I
Mm.
think with me, I feel like I know my mind can really think. And I remember like being younger, having thoughts of like, oh my gosh, so like when we die, like where do we go? And then like
Mm.
after where do we go? Like is it just nothing forever? How long is forever? Like
Mm.
it's just like, and then that used to really freak me out.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just like, for me, I'm okay without
Without knowing.
yeah, like I'm
Ignorance
okay.
is bliss kind of thing.
Yeah, in a certain
Yeah.
sense. I'm
But I
just
mean, we're
like,
gonna find out, right? At one
exactly.
point we'll die, we'll find
Exactly.
out.
Exactly.
But I think there's this thing of like, so I think, and the reason I'm asking this, like,
Mm.
and I wasn't even planning to ask you this today in general, but there's something I've been thinking. I've been thinking about life a lot, and
Okay.
just like this whole thing of like existence, and not in a like a super like deep kind of weird way, but
Yeah.
just in general. And I'm just wondering, like, do people actually comprehend like this like gift of life, or like the fact that we get to experience it, and how unique
Mm.
everyone's lives are, and
Yeah.
how we get to interact with each other, all these different things that people take for granted. It's like, do people
Yeah.
actually comprehend
See, that's the
what we
thing.
have?
I feel
It's
like,
mad.
yeah, see, I feel like on a day to day, because of like what life throws
Mm.
at us, I feel like we don't look at those things. We don't even appreciate it.
Mm.
Like I think I was telling you before that I had pneumonia, and I remember when I caught pneumonia and I was admitted to hospital, I genuinely thought I was dying. Like it was
Mm.
so severe that like, especially because I didn't know what it was. And then I remember when the doctor came and then he was like, I need to take some tests, some blood and all this kind of stuff. I am not someone that's in the hospital. So I was just like, whoa, I don't even like needles. So I was just like, but at this point I needed, like, I felt so bad that I needed the help.
Mm.
And I remember when there was a lot of waiting going on. And I remember when the doctor was basically waiting for my results for my chest x-ray.
Mm.
And because he was like, oh, I think I know what this could be, but I'm not too sure. Let me check. And so I went to have my x-ray, and then waiting for that x-ray to come back, I was genuinely so scared. Like nothing, like I think the things that I was thinking of were
Mm.
people that I love, people around me, people that I want to probably spend more time with that I haven't, because I'm focused on getting my dream job, or I'm focused on being in the gym. I'm focused
That's
on,
so
do you know what I mean? Like
interesting.
all of these
Yeah.
things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what about like, so and so who I haven't seen in like this whole year, or I'm not going to be able to see them, like God forbid that I pass. And during that time, like I was in that hospital and I was seeing so many people around me as well going through it, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like life can be taken from you like anytime.
Mm.
And but when you're distracted by the day-to-day life, like things that go on in life, when you're getting on the tube, when you're thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, or problems that you're going through in life, you don't think about those things.
Yeah.
Like you don't. And I think that was the first time in a very long time that I genuinely was just like, okay, like I actually value life, and I actually need to not take things for granted. Like
Mm.
yeah, whatever that may be.
And but that's the thing. So after that experience, so you went to, obviously been in hospital, you
Yeah.
came out, maybe you done some of those things they was talking about.
Yeah.
But then did you not just go back into a regular routine and just kind of
Yeah.
going on
See,
with
that's the
life
thing.
as
So it's like, because life goes on, right?
yeah.
And I think for me, it definitely opened my eyes. So it's like, for me now, it's like, I know that from that situation, I may not be able. Like, I'm one person. I know I can't give everyone my time. I can't see everyone that I want to see or do all the
Mm,
things that I want to do because like there's just not enough time, right? But one thing that I can do is like improve my communication, for example,
yeah.
or like see situations a bit more differently. So, for example, like give more grace to my friends or people, not
Mm,
necessarily think that okay, like the worst in the situation. I actually think, do you know what? Yeah, this person actually could be going through it right now and I'm not too sure. Let me fair enough, they might be acting up right now, or maybe their communication is really poor or whatever, but
mm,
like let me give them that grace. Like I don't know what's going on in the ins and outs, and even if I do ask, they might not choose to tell me for whatever
yeah.
reason, and I have to respect that. And I just think like it's important to like, be reasonable. And that's why I feel like for me, like when people talk about like forgiveness, um I feel like I'm a very forgiving person.
Mm,
And I'll forgive again, again, again. Like there's no, like I don't have a set number and stuff. But I think of course like you can be again like taken advantage of as well in those situations when you
yeah.
do forgive a lot, but then that's where boundaries get involved, and that's where you can decide, okay, where do I need to place my boundaries with this person or the situation, whatever. So
Do you know what's interesting about forgiveness? Like sometimes forgiveness seems like a good thing,
mhm.
but it's actually like by forgiving another person, sometimes we might be letting them down. Because
Okay.
we're like, if I'm forgiving someone for a particular behavior or particular things that they're doing,
Mhm.
and it might be quite negative on another person or myself
Mhm.
or them, themselves, then I'm encouraging that behavior. Because if I
Okay.
forgive them, that means they might be able to do it again, and if they do it again, that means I'm still encouraging that behavior. So sometimes actually not forgiving someone is a good thing.
Okay.
But it's not just
Yeah.
black and white. I think it's
Yeah, no,
very
I get what you
it's very
mean.
dependent on the scenario and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. But
No, yeah, I do get what you mean.
yeah,
And even saying forgiven like that doesn't mean that I haven't cut off people in my life, because I definitely have.
yeah,
Like rarely, but like but I hear it because I feel like maybe like me stopping my communication with certain people that I have in my life, maybe like I don't know because I don't know what they're doing
mm,
now, but perhaps maybe that did give them like a little wake up call.
yeah.
And hopefully it's improved like their behaviors, or how they're like
Yeah,
with other
if they
people
don't take
now.
it for granted.
Mm,
But there's also that thing as well. I feel like sometimes like people can, there's a saying of like, forgive but not forget.
yeah.
And sometimes like even though people forgive but they just can't forget, it still doesn't, that relationship's always been
Yeah, yeah,
affected
yeah.
by certain things
That's
and
true.
people just hold it back of their head. It's just like
Yeah, no, it's true. I
back in the
think,
mind.
do you know, when it comes to forgiving, forgetting, I feel like, there's some things you can, and I think others are really hard. I feel
Mm,
like even right now I'm battling with one. And sometimes I tell myself like, oh no, I've forgiven, this person for,
mm,
all of that. And I've forgiven even myself for all of this. But sometimes it is really hard to forget. And I will be honest in saying that like that is for me it's a ongoing battle, but I'm choosing to try and fight it because I'm just like, let me try and forget. But sometimes I don't know what it's going to look like.
mm,
And yeah, it's just a bit, it can be difficult to forget. Yeah.
mm. All right, here's another one. Describe society in 3 words, 3 separate words,
Mm.
and tell me why you chose that word for each word.
Okay, I think society is
Shit. Sorry, my bad, my bad. Who said that?
I think, oh my gosh, okay, so now okay, I'll say society is one, culture. Um,
Mm,
I'd say two, social media.
mm.
And I'd say three, society is, and I'm gonna say non-stop.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to expand why?
Okay, so like, okay, I haven't. This is on the top of my head, isn't it? Yeah, so I say my answers may not be the best,
Mm,
but I'd say culture, because I just in general. Okay, when I think of society, I think of culture, not just like where, as in what country you're from, but
mm,
just your surroundings, your environment. I feel like you can be people, like I think for me going to university for me was a huge culture shock, because I am very much I'm from London,
mm,
city girl, South London, and I'm used to my surroundings, and I'm used to seeing lots of different cultures around me, as in like, yeah, just like different cultures in general.
mm,
And then going to university, it was obviously outside London, and knowing that other people have an experience the same things that I've experienced,
Mm,
I was genuinely shocked. I thought everyone lived like this,
mm,
but it's just like, but they don't. Like it's just so different everywhere, and that was just my university experience. So then, if we were to expand that to like worldwide, there's a recent thing I've been seeing a lot. Like I know just like online or circulating
mm.
in general about being Black British, and like let's say your parents are from an African country, in comparison to people over in America, who are also they're Black, and yeah, they might be also from an African descent, and but the differences and a lot of the like just the back and forth arguments is in like essentially what it is that their parents, one parent decided to go to America and have their children, and then the others came to the UK, and it's just like you'd think that it's the same, no, but it isn't. They're still different. So
Mm.
I feel like even within our cultures or our little subgenres and stuff, there's still a lot of differences.
There'll be
So
like a different type of
yeah,
combination. So
there's
there is an
difference.
element
Yeah.
of like one culture kind of enters a different environment.
Mm,
So even though they've still got some of the culture
yeah.
aspects, but it's still
In a whole
learning.
different
Yeah, it's a whole
environment,
different
exactly.
environment. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'd say culture
Oh,
is
that's
just
interesting.
it's
By
loads.
the way, I've got PTSD from that phrase, culture shock. Aladdin probably knows why.
Go on,
Yeah,
elaborate.
Aladdin knows. No, I'm not gonna touch on it anyways. But
Okay.
but just because we're on that topic right now, I want to touch on what was the meaning of culture shock. So obviously, I kind of know it's
Mm,
when someone has a particular culture and they're exposed to maybe like
a
something
different, yeah.
completely different. But it's just like, does someone shock you? Like,
I
no,
think.
not literally, obviously, but culture shock.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a shock because it's just unexpected. You don't
Mm.
expect it, and then you actually.
But is it really a shock though? Is it an actual shock? Like, do you feel shocked? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think for me,
Yeah.
yeah, as in, well, at least I did the first time I
Mm.
experienced culture shock. I was just like, whoa, like.
What was it? What did you experience?
So for me, so this was actually the fact that like, so my housemates loved them all to bits,
Mm.
right? But I remember I was the only Black housemate, and everyone else is either white or I had one of my
I
friends.
said I always waved in that, and I'm joking.
We had a lot of fun. And for like a couple of them,
Mm.
I was their first ever Black friend, and I thought that was
Mm.
wild. But like, I was like, "What do you mean I'm your first Black friend? Like, how is that possible?"
Mm.
But it is possible
They're
because
probably going out there saying, "I'm not racist. I've got a black friend." No,
yeah,
I'm
no,
joking.
literally, I'm pretty sure they probably
Yeah.
were, but like, um, I just didn't get it. I was like, how am I your only Black friend?
Mm.
And that's because I've got friends of every color. Do you know what I mean? And that to me is my norm.
Yeah,
But
that's
like for them,
interesting.
it really wasn't. And then from that, some of the things like the way that
Where
they
was this
think.
when you was going to
So I was
uni?
university, yeah. So that
Okay.
was like the first
Where'd
time
you
I
go
really
outside of
experienced.
London?
Yeah, Portsmouth.
Oh, there you go, Portsmouth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
went
makes sense.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And then I guess stemming from that, the type of things that they'd say,
Mm.
it was just like, whoa, like what?
Where
Like
were they from? Were they like from Portsmouth or different parts of
they
the
were from
UK?
like like Devon, like those kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
areas.
So the different
Yeah.
accents and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
very.
literally.
But did they have like even within UK? There's like you'll go different parts of UK. There's different cultures within the
Yeah.
UK itself.
Mhm.
Apart from English breakfast, that's universal.
Yeah.
Across the globe, you can go to any other country. Like I went back to Lithuania in last year July, and they were doing English breakfast in one of the restaurants. I was like, what's going on?
Wait, where
Like
did you go?
Lithuania.
Oh, Lithuania.
I'm
Okay,
from
yeah,
Lithuania
Lithuania. Yes,
originally,
yes,
so
yes.
I
And they're doing
went back home.
English breakfast.
Yeah, I was just,
Oh
what's
gosh,
going on?
okay.
It's just like every single country I've been to on holiday, they got
They've
English
always got
breakfast.
English breakfast. Yeah, no. To be fair, yeah. I
So
think.
what
Yeah.
is that? Yeah.
Wait, I know that you went to Barcelona.
Mhm.
Did they have English breakfast there?
Yeah.
Really? See, I
Yeah.
went to Barcelona, but like literally in December.
Mm.
No, they had like. I mean, maybe it was their version.
No,
of
it wasn't.
English
It
breakfast.
wasn't every single restaurant that had it though.
Oh,
It
but
was, yeah, it
some
was,
places.
there's some
Okay.
places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on a hunt for that
Yeah.
in Barcelona, but all they had was
Yeah.
croquettes. And I was just like, I want to full English, but yeah.
But going back to culture shock,
Mhm.
so you had a housemates that were just like from
Yeah.
different backgrounds.
Yeah,
and
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
just
they're
you-
all
you-
different
you would-
backgrounds
yeah.
and stuff. And
But I see why you'd be surprised though. But if you went to university in London, it might not.
yeah, I probably no,
Yeah.
of course I wouldn't have experienced that. I did
No.
actually come and I did attend university in London for a year,
Mm.
and yeah, it's completely different. Like, yeah, it wasn't the same.
I think that's why a lot of Londoners sometimes forget that there's a whole different world in other parts of
Yeah.
the UK. Like you literally go 3 hours out somewhere,
Mhm.
and it's like you won't see like any type of multicultural
Yeah.
and any people from other backgrounds down there. There's no
Mhm.
diversity, no nothing, and it's
Yeah,
just like
nothing.
it's a whole different. And some parts. So for example, Blackpool's one of them. So I went to Blackpool like
Okay, Blackpool.
twice, 2 or
Okay.
3 times.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. It feels like that place is 20 years behind in times.
Really?
I don't know. There's just something about it. It's
Okay.
just such a weird place.
Do you know
And
what? I'm not shocked by that. I feel like
yeah,
either I've been told that before, or I've just, when you see it on telly and it just looks a bit just dated, like just a bit back.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've experienced the same thing somewhere else. I can't remember what part of UK that was, but yeah, it's crazy. You know what's funny? I haven't actually had a culture shock.
Okay.
I've never experienced one.
Like in at all.
That's why I'm trying to I'm trying to understand what that means. So
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess like, do you know what? Like, I think I mean, it's great that you haven't experienced a culture
Mm.
shock, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm like, oh, okay,
No,
you haven't experienced it. Yeah.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
haven't experienced it. All right. So what was your next one? Social media.
Oh, yes, it's social
Yeah.
media. Yeah. Yeah, I just think the world is just social media. Like everything is like wrapped around social media. And I think yeah, society, is social
Yeah.
media. And that's in many forms. I think just even seeing the difference, like as to how we find out our news now,
Mm.
it isn't necessarily the news. It will literally be an online platform. It will be Twitter. It will be something on Instagram. Um, you find out like as quick,
Mm.
all that kind of stuff. You find out online. Even when it comes to like for example, like TikTok now is like it's massive. Like
Mm.
I heard that how people use like for example the search engine on that more than they do with Google because it's like you get an actual
Mm.
you get video footage, like you know what I mean. And I think everything is around social media. I think, and even now like working where obviously I worked in recruitment for many years. I find it crazy that how sometimes like on a job specification,
Mm.
it one of the points might be like knowing how to put together a reel or work Instagram, knowing how
Yeah.
to, and I'm just like wow. And there's full on jobs out there that are just like literally like an Instagram editor or assistant or whatever,
Yeah.
and that was those roles didn't exist before.
20
So
years
yeah,
later, it might be you
it'd be
need to
something
have a
else.
YouTube channel to apply for a job.
No, it's in literally,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
like how we do job
Yeah.
applications now, like people do like there's like video, like you have to like
Yeah. Like,
explain in like 2 minutes, why you want this role
do
or
you know
before
what?
like they don't even want the
Yeah,
traditional CVs.
it makes sense that the industry you're in, it's like they did want to do that. But I feel like
Mm,
this is what I hate. It's like I've been thinking about these things from
yeah.
time ago.
Hmm.
Like, for example, like a video sort of like, I don't know, expression of interest or
Yeah.
whatever. And like, I remember my workplace, no, we can't do this because it's unfair and whatever,
Okay.
whatever. But you know what it is? I feel like some people are just like pioneers of certain
Hmm.
initiatives and then people
Yeah.
just follow
Yeah.
afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, like looking like at like okay, I guess like what social media is now. Um, I wouldn't have expected it to be that.
Mm.
I remember when Instagram first came around, and that we used that. Well, I know I did. Me and my friends did. We just used that to just
Mm.
edit our pictures. Like we didn't actually use it as an app. It was just
Yeah.
to edit and put a filter on our picture and then upload it on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And now
That's lit.
people have like a full on career on Instagram or social media. Like
It's
now there are
crazy.
content creators
Yeah.
and they're making thousands of money.
Maybe
Like
this is why the world is going to shit.
no, I
This
hear
is
it though.
this is why
I
I
hear
feel like
it.
that's why the whole economy is getting fucked up. There's like influencers out there posting half naked pictures, getting money for
Mhm.
it, and it's just like they're making money out of nowhere, and it's just it's crazy.
And the
I
biggest
think
thing, it literally is like I will never obviously like look down on what they do,
mm.
because go make your money like and if that works for you, then go for it.
So, but you know what's interesting? So, by the way, I'm not dissing it either.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that works for them, that's cool. And I don't completely understand the
yeah.
whole thing of the world economics and how it
Yeah.
completely works. But to some extent, like people have to start thinking about, hold on, so what value does that actually add to the
Mm.
world?
Yeah.
And how much money does that take? And
Mhm.
then what about actual real physical things? So,
Yeah.
I'm talking about vegetables or whatever,
Yeah.
that we actually need to literally survive.
Mhm.
And there has to be some kind of imbalance somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, because if a person's posting a half naked picture, that literally maybe adds some kind of like fucked up psychological value for certain people.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe makes, I don't know, like 20K of that one picture, or 10K
Mhm.
or 5K one, I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there's people who barely make like, I don't know, like £8 an hour, £9 an
No,
hour, or
it's true.
whatever.
Mhm.
It's just what's that, there's kind of like there's a little bit of imbalance. So if the world starts
Yeah.
going in a really like bad place economically, it kind of starts it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's jobs now and there's ways of making money that never existed in the past.
Yeah.
And ways of making money where it doesn't add any like physical real value to the world.
Yeah.
It's just more mental.
It's more mental. No, I
Yeah.
mean, like, unfortunately, I do feel like a lot of the world is just like nothing really. Not that nothing makes sense, but it's just like
I'll go with that.
yeah, it's just like yeah, like a lot of things just don't really make sense. But it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say, like, for example, like if we were to use like influencers and content creators as an example, big companies would rather, pay, the creator a
Mm.
certain a fee to promote their product because of how influential they are and how big their audience is.
Mm.
Therefore, it's going to make a lot of money for the company rather than invest in getting, I don't know, a marketing
Mm.
assistant on board and paying them a salary and doing it, I guess, the traditional way.
Mm.
Now everything's really quick.
Yeah.
It's very fast, and the turnaround is like super quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing, but I don't also think it's a good thing. So when's the expiry date? Like,
Mm.
and I think someone like me, for example, who's passionate about like music and the creative industry, I know like now they're talking about like having like an AI artist, where like come on, like I don't know, where we don't want to lose
Mm.
what we all really truly like. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. So it is for me. I'll be honest. I'm sometimes people are like, oh, I'm super excited to see, where things are going to be like in, I don't know, 30 years or 20 years. I'm not. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm just like, I'm just going to live and just, go by, and hopefully everything's cool. But I don't want to think that far ahead because I feel like so much has advanced so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's insane. Like even seeing, I don't know, people that are like 18 and 19, and some of
Mm.
them, I'm just like, when I was 18, 19,
Mm.
I wasn't doing anything like what you do now. They're just so advanced. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I feel like a lot of them are so intelligent, but I'm just like, I feel like a lot of them are growing up so quickly.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful for being like, I guess in my age and growing up how and when I did, because I'll be real, like, I feel like I've experienced so many things and genuinely have enjoyed it. Like I haven't had to, been like having fun and then whacking out my
Mm.
phone to either record or just try and capture and save the moment. Don't get me wrong, like I do love to do that on occasions.
Yeah.
But now it's just like the whole world is just, yeah, we're kind of consumed by it and we just have it there at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started making this joke like 10 years ago, which was like, if someone went to the gym and they didn't post on Instagram or something, then they didn't
Yeah.
really go to the gym. It's like
Yeah.
now it's actually
It's
become,
true.
it's the truth now. It's
It's the
like,
truth.
if someone didn't post something on social media, it's never happened.
It didn't happen.
But what's that saying of like, if the tree fell into the woods or something like that, and
Okay.
no one
And
was
no
there
one was
to,
around.
did it really fall?
Did it really fall?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's kind
something
of
like
it's
that. Mhm.
that's kind of like what social media is.
Yeah, absolutely.
If someone's done something but no one's seen it on social media, did they really do it?
Yeah, it's like, did it happen?
Yeah.
Literally. And that's, yeah.
It's almost become this sort of like it's kind of like an evidence portfolio,
I agree.
evidence of us actually doing stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's the same way, like, I think Instagram's a perfect example of it. I think even now, like LinkedIn, like before, I remember signing up to LinkedIn. I had to because of my job. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, what's LinkedIn? And now it literally is that place to say that, we made, I don't know, I've done something amazing and this is what it was. This is what it was. And
Yeah.
here's a picture to show it and to prove it that I've done it.
Yeah.
And for me to know that, you've seen it, you're going to like it and you're going to comment it. And therefore, I'm going to feel fine about it.
But that's the
and
real
feel
CV
good,
though.
yeah.
That's the real CV. So I think CVs are dying anyways. Like, I think at some
Yeah.
point they'll die.
No, I
But
totally
LinkedIn
agree.
is a real CV because
Yeah.
LinkedIn has this thing of like, cool, this is what I've done. This is the evidence
Yeah.
for it. And then people can actually like commend it as well and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. And then that's
So then
the
you
real.
can see, you can definitely
exactly.
see, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And there's
Yeah.
proof with it. Yeah, social media is one interesting place anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like just going back to the thing of like actual value. So as an example, you can sit down and have a podcast conversation and some people can make £500
Yeah.
having one conversation for an
Mhm.
hour long, right? And there might be a person out there, I'm gonna get to the point in a second, but there might be a
Yeah.
person out there picking potatoes all day,
Okay.
right? And getting like €10 an hour in
Mhm.
like another like European country or
Mhm.
whatever. Now in terms of actual value itself, it's like we can't survive without those potatoes, right?
Yeah.
We can survive without listening to a podcast conversation. even though it still adds
Yeah.
value, right? Perspective and all
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that
I get what
stuff.
you're saying.
So there's priorities, right?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about, because a lot of the times we demonize like machines, we're saying, oh, machines gonna take over the world and whatever. Now I'm thinking, actually, if you have a machine that does the potato picking, and then we have then we have more time to do things like having a podcast conversation and
Okay.
develop mentally and stuff like that. So actually, I was thinking on a
Yeah.
side note, I wanted to bring back this point. Is like having advancements of AI or particular technology is not necessarily a bad thing. It
Yeah.
just gives us more room to do other things.
Other things. No, I do
Yeah.
agree. I think the only fear that I have
Mm.
is that like I don't want to, and I'll use the AI thing as an
Yeah.
example. Having like, imagine having like an organic, very talented artist going up against essentially they're like an AI, a robot or whatever it is. Like, yeah, I think it's just like where, I don't know, where, yeah, no, I just feel as if like, no, the real artist deserves their flowers essentially,
Yeah.
and not, the people that are behind the AI robot or whatever it
But
is.
that's an interesting conversation. And just to be clear, like I'm not like transphobic or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is that thing of like, it's kind of like there's a similar example would be, let's say a woman MMA fighter, and there's a man who becomes a woman,
Mm,
so they're transgender, and a similar sort of thing, and then they're going
yeah.
against a man. So it's kind of like,
Mm.
it's not much different. So it's like, where do we like draw the line between what's right and what's wrong, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's a tough one,
Yeah.
like, because, well, yeah, no, it's a tough one, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I hear that point on, yeah, the trans MMA fighter, I said it right, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. It's interesting, anyways. But yeah, let me just go back to my
Yes.
thing. So, what do you feel like are the biggest challenges in society today? And then I've got a following question on that.
I think, I'm gonna say again social media. So I think,
Social media again.
yeah, I definitely think social media. I think that it's not allowing us to develop how we should do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So my other question is like, what? So what do you think we could do to address it?
Oh God, it's in like probably spending less times on our phone.
Mm.
Probably caring less about how many likes or how much how much engagement you've received
Mm.
online. By stop comparing yourselves to people that you see online, because half of the time it's edited. Like, people edit their photos, so much. So
Yeah.
you probably won't get that. You're not going to look like that person because that person doesn't exist. And I just feel like as much as I love social media, as I do, I think it's wicked.
Mm.
I think it's an amazing thing. But I definitely do think it's also dangerous. So I feel like if ideally it'd be great if we could have a certain amount of like control with it,
Yeah.
but we can't. Like, it's just like, and I guess it's like how you deal with it. And I say that because like I recently saw a YouTube video, and I didn't watch all of it, but the title was something along the lines of like our real obsession that we're not actually trying to face or resolve is
Mm.
the obsession of scrolling. And and I know for a fact I've definitely been that person that I can be on my phone and I can be scrolling and hours will fly past and
Mm.
I won't even realize. And I think if we didn't have these social platforms that I could scroll on, I 100% will know I'll be doing something different. I did,
Mm.
like, growing up, I didn't have all that stuff, and I was constantly entertained. I was constantly busy, and to a point where, like, sometimes, like, even now, like, watching a film is difficult because it's just like, oh, I got to put my phone down for 2 hours to concentrate on this
Mm.
film. That is just like, why? Like, come, enjoy the film, enjoy being in the present, in the now. But like, I feel like a lot of us, or a lot of people anyways in general, struggle with that, and they don't realize that because you don't even realize that you're doing it, but naturally
Yeah.
you do it.
Do you ever like, you ever watch a movie and then you just go on your phone like maybe like 10-20 minutes into the movie and
Yeah.
it's just like you're not watching the movie no more. The
Yeah.
movie's in the background and you're on the
And
phone.
you're on your phone. I
Yeah.
literally, like, one thing that I struggle with, yeah, is stay like focusing on a series.
Mm.
So like loads of my friends can literally like sit there and binge a series. I can't do that unless it's
Mm.
really, really good. And yeah, I can't do that. I can't
So that
multitask.
means you can do it. It just maybe it's about the quality of the
That's
series.
it. Yeah. So it's just like I need to be. First of all, it has to be good, and it has to, like, obviously entice me. And secondly, I have to just have my mind on that. And I
Mm.
find, like, I'll be honest and admitting that, like, sometimes I do fall into the habit of, like, I'm watching it and I'm just like, oh, let me quickly check my phone, and I don't even realize that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not even doing something on it, why am I picking up my phone? I mean, I'm not expecting a call, I'm not expecting a message, but
No.
let me check it out.
What's the screen time?
Oh my god, my screen time. I think, do you know, it went down last week, yeah, but
We should do
it's
we should do
high.
a live check. We should do a live screen time check.
What am I on?
Huh?
See, well, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
How do
I
we check screen times? I want to check.
you can go. Oh, I don't know how
On
to do it
Samsung.
on your phone, but I know on
Uh,
iPhone you can check it out. Like,
do you want to compare it?
yeah, my phone's over there though. Can I?
Aladdin, can you grab a phone, please?
Aladdin, I don't.
Hello. Can you grab a phone, please, for a second?
You're gonna check.
How to
You're in your
check
own world.
screen time on Samsung? Settings, digital well-being. Yep. Yeah. What's it?
Yeah,
Should we check yours as well? Aladdin, what's yours?
Aladdin, you've got an iPhone, right? What? How do I find my screen time? Okay. Oh, you're so cool, man. Oh, I don't know this stuff, all right?
Uh,
Okay. Well, my
okay.
daily it's gone down from last week. 6 hours 24 minutes.
6 hours 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. What's yours, Aladdin?
What do you
Huh?
mean? You're
Turn it
you're
off.
so silly.
Loser.
What's
Loser.
yours?
Mine average is 3 hours 10 minutes.
Ah, see. Now I think though there's a reason as to why mine is quite
Mm.
high. So I've been working for me. I've been working from
Yeah.
home since the beginning of COVID, and now my new role, I'm gonna be in
Mm.
person, as in like in the office, essentially, and yeah. So I know for a fact for me, I know that will go down
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna be on my phone when I'm with people.
Yeah.
But like if I'm at home by myself,
But that's the thing. I've been like recently. I've been by myself a lot. Like
mm,
I've not actually been using my phone.
that's
So
good.
it's what's interesting. So I've never used to be like this. So I used to use my phone quite a bit.
Okay.
But as of recent, there's something around. So I've had a phase. What was it? February. I had a phase in February where like I used to turn off my phone at a particular time.
Okay.
So actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. I used to turn on my phone for 1 hour a day.
1 hour
So
a day.
I was
Okay.
trying it out.
Yeah.
How was it like to go without a phone for basically pretty much the whole day? So I've done that for a week. I found it really, really interesting. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make
Yeah.
some adjustments subconsciously, unconsciously.
Mm.
I'm gonna make some adjustments over time. And I've kind of planted that seed. And as a recent, like I've got so many messages I don't respond to.
Yeah.
Like I literally got a bunch of messages
Yeah.
sitting there. And it's so bad.
It's
And
hot. I
that's
know.
helping me not to be on the phone.
Mm.
And what's interesting as well, actually, so my average is 3 hours 10 minutes, which is actually it's not even accurate to be honest,
Okay.
because a lot of it is YouTube. So
Mm.
pretty much 1/3 of my screen time is on YouTube,
Okay.
and I don't actually. So when I use YouTube, I don't watch the screen.
Oh,
I just
okay.
play
It's just
something in the
on.
background.
Yeah, I get
So
you.
if I'm walking to the station or I'm
Mhm.
listening to
Yeah,
something, so
yeah,
it's not actual screen time.
yeah.
So it's probably
Okay.
around 2 hours on average.
Okay. Yeah. But I think
And
that's really impressive.
yeah.
As in, like, I think for like today, because I feel like a
Mm.
lot of people will be a lot more higher than that.
But do you know what made a big difference? So I've done I used to do this residential called Lifebeat.
Okay.
It's an amazing organization. They take young people on this sort of trip where they build their own community for like there's about 50 young people, 25 staff members.
Yeah.
They build their own community for a week. And one of the things they promote down there is unplugged culture.
Okay.
So upon arrival, obviously they can't just take people's phones away like that, but they promote. They say, look, do you want to hand your phone in?
Oh, that's
So
sick.
hold on to it. Obviously, if you want to call your
Yeah.
parents a particular time, you can do all of that stuff. So they also promote that to staff because there's the whole thing of like
Yeah.
you have to lead from the front. So if you're a staff
Yeah. Yeah.
member, you need to do stuff. Um, so yeah, like I'd literally go to that summer camp.
That sounds good.
I'd give my phone for a week, or sometimes I'd have my phone with me, but I'd turn it off.
Really? Okay.
I might need it for something for like 10
Yeah.
minutes a day.
Okay.
But one thing I found really interesting is after that 1 week, I used to feel like I've been in a different bubble, or like I'm not connected to the outer world.
Okay.
And I realized there's a whole world in this phone sometimes,
Mm.
or perceived world.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I would turn my phone on, like when it's time to go back, and I'd be really sad about turning it on.
Okay.
I'd be like, I kind of don't want to turn it on.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking I have to kind of turn it on. There's work emails, there's this, there's that.
Mhm.
And I'd start seeing things on social media after 1 week. And a lot of
Yeah.
it was so, like, it's just dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'd get kind of like adjusted to it once again. So I
Yeah.
think those experiences were actually the biggest, like, seeds for me in life
Yeah.
to start thinking about how do I manage this.
Okay. Yeah.
But my next step is
Yeah.
actually, so I'm going to change my main number,
Okay.
and then I'm going to have another phone,
So just
which is going to
essentially.
go on and off particular times. So maybe like
Okay.
9 to 5 is on. After that, it's off. And my other phone, maybe like 5, 6 people have it.
Okay.
So they just
So
call me for emergencies
yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I'm
Okay.
not
No,
going to be
I
using it
hear
like
you.
that.
I think that's good. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely think that's good. And if you're able to do that, then yes, because I feel like we're losing a lot of our time on being on our phones
Yeah.
and not just actually living life.
Well, and that's the thing. And who's gaining that time?
Mm,
It's the companies that sell our time for to advertisers
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
No, it's true. It's
So
true.
you're not necessarily losing it, but giving it to someone else
Yeah,
for free, essentially,
yeah. No. Oh, yeah, for
and
free,
they
of
don't even get
course.
a cut.
No, for
Um,
real.
which is the craziest
No,
part.
for real.
So I think that that's the business model that they run with.
Mm,
So but ideally, I'd love not to even. Like, I think Ed Sheeran's actually he doesn't have a
really.
phone.
So, oh,
But
really?
that's the thing. He's obviously he's made it to a point where he's got a manager, so a manager can do all of these things for him. But
Yeah.
he has
So
to
he would
use
have
his an
to.
email. But doesn't have a phone.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I really wonder how he keeps in touch with people like close ones.
I don't know. It must.
Unless
Yeah,
it's just an email thing, because at least now,
yeah.
I mean, people
Maybe
have
he's got
email
like
on
a
their
little
phone.
brick phone or something just
Yeah,
to
I
call
guess that
people.
that's really
Because
interesting.
sometimes
Wow.
you can't. Yeah, I guess like he maybe he wouldn't lie, but sometimes if I don't
Mm,
know him personally, then
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
he might be saying one thing
yeah.
on the internet, but doing
Do you know,
another
yeah,
thing.
in secret, but I that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
no, exactly. So last thing I wanted to touch on before we start checking out is therapy.
yes.
So what's been really interesting so far for me
Mm,
as of this point in the last year and a half, like therapy's been coming up more and more for me, just
okay.
in general, just not just on a podcast. Just in because I'm I work with like young men as well, so I
Yeah.
do this thing called Man Talk. So there's a lot of like conversation in that space around men's mental health and therapy in
Mhm.
general. And it's been like this sort of like really taboo topic, or like sort of like this got this particular stigma.
Yeah.
Where do you think the stigma comes from when it comes to it?
I think it's just the stigma of accepting that you need help, or like you
Mm,
need an outlet that isn't your friend, that isn't your
mm,
partner, that isn't your family. I think the idea of um like kind of like labeling yourself as for example like depressed, it's just like, oh no, there's nothing mentally wrong with me. Like people want to, they shun away from that. They don't want to admit it, because I think when you think of mental health, you think of like a like I don't know, like a mental asylum and all of those things, and you kind of think, oh, that's a quote unquote crazy person,
mm,
when in actual fact, no, we're just humans. And you know s- things that we go through in life and stuff may take a toll on your mental health, and it's okay to go and seek help, and
mm,
then essentially like rebalance yourself, rather than totally going off the rails. So, but
mm,
I really do think that, like, I think, yeah, it's a taboo, because I feel like like I say our generation, I say our parents didn't. It's not like something that they would encourage or they would
mm,
do. Well, yeah. But I think now, as we're getting older, one thing that I love is the fact that people are more open about it.
yeah.
Like, it's so normal for someone to be like to me in a conversation, oh yes, I was talking to my therapist the other day and this, that, and the other. But before, I'd never hear that. Growing up, I never heard that. I didn't know what
Mm,
a therapist was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting? So what is it about? So what does a therapist provide that another person can't?
See, that's the thing. So I feel like a therapist, they don't know you.
Mm.
Um, your friend knows you, like
But then can't you just talk to a stranger, to a random stranger on the street then?
but I think there's like there's like a certain skill that like a therapist or well, yeah, a therapist or a
So they provide a
counselor,
process then.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there is a way that, like, I think there's like they do obviously go and learn and study
Mm.
something. So I do think there's a particular way that they go about, you
Mm.
know being able to, one, just listen, and two, kind of help you navigate around your thoughts, because
Mm.
majority of the time, I'm the one that's talking whenever I'm having my therapy session. It's not
Mm.
like, they might be prompting me or asking me questions, but not necessarily like it's me. I'm speaking. I'm figuring out for myself.
Mm.
But in a weird way, it's like they're kind of guiding me to find, like, the things that I want to discover about myself, or
Mm.
stuff that I need to think about. And I don't think someone who doesn't have a skill set in that
Mm.
will be able to do that, I guess, effectively, and someone that definitely won't be able to,
Do
because yeah.
you know what's interesting? So I've done therapy about a year ago,
Okay.
year and a bit ago. But what's interesting? So I found this trend of like I feel like therapists are doing like they're doing life coaching
Mm,
more
mm.
than the therapy itself now.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm guessing from your experience they ask a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the questions kind of like, would you want to get out of this session and stuff like that? And
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I guess like different I mean, to be fair, so my therapist, I've been rocking with her for let's say about like a year now.
mm,
And the I guess like she would ask me questions, but not so many.
mm,
Like I think one thing that I love, and every therapy session is different depending on who you're with.
mm,
Um in fact, when I was looking for my therapist, I had a few like sessions with different therapists, and it wasn't that it wasn't working.
mm.
And then obviously, luckily, like with my current therapist, it works, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. And funnily enough, like each session kind of starts off with so how's your week been, or how has the past couple of weeks been?
Yeah.
And then and just with that question, I start to speak, and then I start to realize, oh, this, and then I say that, and then it's predominantly like me that's speaking and me that's actually answering my own questions.
But then, yeah, that's interesting. But then, so because you already know that that's the space for you, right? For you to
Mm,
do that. So you
yeah,
kind of bring that because if you spoke to a friend or whatever,
yeah,
maybe you know that you can't have that space with your
mm,
friend because your friend might not be on that, or
yeah.
they might, yeah,
hmm
they might not understand
They
certain
might not
things.
understand, or they might just be my friend. So
Yeah.
therefore, me saying, I don't know, let's say I'm upset about something, they're going to be on
Mm,
my side, and they're going to want the
mm,
best for me. Whereas, like someone that isn't in the situation and doesn't actually know you, they obviously want the best for you, but they don't have that
mm,
connection with you. So therefore, they can, in a certain sense, maybe even like prompt you to pull yourself up
mm,
on something that perhaps you haven't realized too. But then someone that's my friend, usually they're going to take my side. For example, yeah, they're going to be like,
mm.
oh no, like you're right. Not to say like therapy a therapist would say you're wrong, but like yeah, essentially they're not there to kind of be your cheerleader. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes
And
we need that.
they might challenge you on particular things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Or
oh my
make
god,
you
yeah.
think about certain things, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because sometimes, like, I won't say every conversation goes. I mean, it's smooth,
Mm,
but as in, like, it. There are times that I'm definitely challenged. I'm just like, hold on a minute, and even to the point where I'm thinking, like, no, I know what I'm thinking, but then you actually go, oh wait, hold on, and a friend wouldn't have made me come to that realization,
mm.
and yeah, it wouldn't be the case. And yeah, yeah,
No, that's interesting. And there's different types of therapy as well.
yeah. There's so many different types of
And I
therapy.
know there's talking therapy, so hold on, different types of therapy.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that how many there are.
And I know, so I know, yeah, I know there's talking therapy. I know there's CBT.
Mhm.
Um, what else is there?
There's
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that
oh yeah,
doesn't
but
matter.
there's
But I wanted to look into it.
yeah,
And
I'm actually gonna look into it too actually because I do know there's quite a
yeah,
few.
so there's CBT, there's talking therapy. Yeah, I don't know. Just all of them. Look, there's what is that? Eye movement. I don't know. That's
Eye
yeah.
movement. Wow.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Some next
Yeah.
thing. I might be looking up something else, but so yeah. Listen, to check out with, so
Yes.
there's two questions.
Okay.
The first question is broken down into two parts.
Okay.
So in terms of promoting something, so we
Mhm.
like to break it down in two parts. So the first one is something that doesn't belong to you. So something you like to promote that doesn't belong to you. So it can be literally anything. Can be maybe a video you watch. Can be a book.
Mhm.
Can be a friend that's doing something. Can literally be anything you want.
Anything. Okay.
So something you want to promote that doesn't belong to you. And the second one is something you want to promote that does belong to you.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So something that I'd like to promote that obviously doesn't belong to me
Mm.
would be an organisation or fund called Metallic Fund, and essentially they're there to help provide funding, workshops, mentoring within for people within the creative industry, and they primarily focus on Black people within the creative industry. But of course, it's not just for Black people. Um, they have funded like many, I guess, like yeah, many things that we probably have like we see like
Mm.
online and it's there. You can go ahead and apply. I do believe this year, I think the application has closed. I think it closed in March, but yeah,
Mm.
they're definitely people to like look out for 100%. So
That's lit.
metallicfund.com, I believe.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely them.
That's lit. And something that belongs to you.
Something belongs to me. My podcast. I'm definitely gonna say After Eight podcast.
Jeez.
Yes, absolutely. Myself and my co-host Olympia. Yeah, we've been working at it. And
Mm.
just yeah, we haven't stopped every week since the week that we started.
Mm.
we've been going at it, and we put our time and dedication towards it, and it's something that has helped us both. Like, I think when we both even started it, we were both at a place where we were, going through it, let's just say that. And it's literally been a form of therapy for us. And
Yeah.
we've got, like, she's one of my best friends that I've known for years. And it's so weird because you can think you know someone, but then, yeah, we've gotten to know each other a lot more deeper and stuff. And I think one thing that I love about us is that we're just us, and we encourage people to be them. Whenever
Mm.
we have guests on, we want them to have a good time. We want them to share their story too, but just be free and unapologetically themselves. So
Yeah.
and we're great fun, great banter. So yeah, we
Yeah.
do have a laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Olympia was on the pod. She was explaining to me the whole after eight concept.
Oh yeah,
This is
yeah,
when all the
yeah,
conversations
yeah.
take place and stuff.
Oh
It's
gosh.
lit. I'm gonna get a chance to say something to 8.1 billion. Is it 8.1 now? Huh? 7.89. Is that correct? All right, so I'm gonna get a chance to say something to 7.89 billion people. What would you
Okay.
tell them?
What would I tell? Oh God, I'm joking. I would say to them, find your happy.
Mm,
Yeah, whatever that may look like, whatever that may be, whether that's in form of a place, a person, a hobby, yourself. Find your happy. I think
mm,
that, like, it's really important to find your happy. Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
I'm just thinking, what if living meant happiness?
Oh,
Then everyone could be happy, you know?
yeah,
That'd be lit.
yeah. That would be
That'd be
really
lit.
lit.
But yeah,
Yeah.
now thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been fun. This has been like my first like appearance.
Seriously,
Yeah.
first of many.
Yeah, first of
Yeah,
many. Yes,
you
I love
have
that.
to come out your comfort zone
Yeah, no,
and
that
do it.
sounds really
But yeah,
good.
no, I love that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
8.027. So why did you lie to me?